they couldn't move. They were on top of each other, man. And they were defecating each other, they were dying of disease. That was the cruel treatment. But we're still being treated cruel. All right? We're still being treated cruel. All right? We're still that stigma on us. Okay? So happy is he gonna be who's gonna reward them as thou hast treated us. So you're gonna get back what you've done to the Israelites. Plain and simple. Now we're not gonna do particular things because we're not perverted like that. The judgment that we're gonna perform and execute on them is gonna come straight out the scriptures. It's gonna be justified. We're gonna be justified. How about Simeon-affliction? We're not gonna do them sick shit. Okay? Like what's that? Derby's dose, the Frenchman. Went to it a little bit.
Benjamin.
Yeah, that was a Frenchman, I believe, that did that shit.
Yeah,
a French Edomite.
Yeah, Derby's dose pretty much go back in the in the history, obviously, of us Israelites, where you had pretty much a slave master would have another slave defecate in another slave's mouth. All right, and that was and they would actually pretty much put a gag on his mouth, so it was stuck in his mouth.
Right.
Shit.
And that's just one example. There's so many different examples that we can go into, but go ahead.
Verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Thomas Thistle, that's what it was. Right, go ahead.
God. Verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Right, so we equated Edom with Babylon. Right, that's what we read prior.
God.
Now, if the Babylonians were the ones ruling, what does Edom have to do with Babylon? Because we know this is not talking about ancient Babylon, it's talking about modern day Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon, which you know is confusion. Through America, it pushes its diversity, all right, and it's permeated throughout the entire world. America really holds the influence over the other nations, okay? So we know that Edom rules this Babylon, okay? So when it mentions Edom, it's a reference really to America. Yes, they're a nation, but it also represents the places where they rule and where they rule from. We know that the rule of America, where the Edomites are tied primarily, especially militarily. Whenever they do a military operation, they got NATO. It's just a joint, a joining of the nations underneath Esau through America's hegemony, okay, militarily.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 11. You know what? I'm gonna start from now. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything thereof it may be said, see, this is new?
Right, so let me ask you this. You believe that America is an extension, or let's say a reincarnation of the Roman Empire?
It's like a continuation.
It's a continuation, right? Or a rebirth would be a better word.
Yeah, because you can't say it's the whole continuation of. It's something new with the same elements, if anything.
There you go.
Now we're talking about the nation of people who are ruling. Yes.
Okay, but you got to ask yourself, why has America, okay, the supposed greatest country on earth, because that's subjective, right? You could argue and say, well, America's not the greatest. You go to Europe, they have this, that, and third. Obviously, Europe is better. But from the world's perspective, America held the height of the hill for the longest period of time, where the nations looked at this place as a beacon of hope and opportunity. And when you look at the way the other nations carry themselves, they adopt a lot of America's ideas, a lot of their customs, their traits. But my question to you is, if you reject the notion of reincarnation, how do you explain why America, which has come thousands of years after the Roman Empire, has adopted Roman numerals, these different buildings, architecture, all fashioned after something that has already taken place?
Yep.
You mean to tell me they just have an unhealthy obsession with the past? Or is it that arguably, right, that they were those people, they're coming back, and that's why they're adopting so many of these ideals back into their system.
You finish on that?
It's just something to think about. It's just food for thought, you know?
Yep.
I'd like to say something, I guess. And it's the same thing with us because you got pyramids in Egypt
Right.
and you got them here in America.
There you go.
So how come?
That's why the scripture's saying there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, because the thing is,
because
like,
America isn't just, it is an extension of the Roman Empire, but it's a rebirth because it was the same people. But now they've taken the wickedness much further, and they didn't just take things from Rome, they took things from Babylon, they took things from Egypt, right? They took things from all these different other kingdoms, all right? Because it's the same spirits virtually coming back, okay? But it's in its modern form.
So reading on, I'm gonna start from the top
Right,
again. Verse
even
9.
right down to the customs. Why are these people bugging out on this damn alphabet shit? Why are they acting like freaks? Why are they being perverts? Because it all goes back to the Greco-Roman way. That spirit of the Greco-Romans is alive and a well in America because it's that same spirit, but it's back today and it's much heavier, okay, as it would be prophesied.
Yep. And if I may, that's why it really says there's no new thing under the sun, because all this stuff got wiped down and it just reverted back to what it was already in the past, right?
Yeah.
If you wiped America cleanly and you put the same wicked people in authority like that's been happening, that happened prior, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna regenerate.
Well, is America being an extension of the Roman Empire really like proof of regeneration, also an adoption of like, customs and cultures?
Well, you got to think of the people.
I mean, if
right?
if you look at like the kingdoms of the world, you trace through time, like there's a lot of stuff that they've.
Tell me why. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Tell me why, in most major industries, they require you to speak Latin. Let's take the medical field. Why? Wasn't Latin a predominant language that was spoken during the time of the Romans? You got to think about that. Why don't we just use English terms? Which English obviously is the best language anyways, is an adaptation of many other languages. But why are they so hell-bent on using Latin terms?
Times New Roman.
Times New Roman, yeah, the freaking default font Times New Roman. Because the spirit that's in these people is really those people
Revelation
from then
13.
today.
But couldn't you say the same thing about Egypt?
The political.
Well, that's the thing. That's true
Egyptians as
too.
well? So like
They're not the Egyptians, but the spirit
13.
the spirit they've taken, which is, okay, so you look at Washington, D.C., right? That's mainly Roman architecture when you go down there, but they have something called the Washington Monument, right? Now, the word monument, probably, no, means to remember something. At the very top of it, they have the pyramid, right? That's because that spirit is alive in America, but the Edomites are taking that and using it for their own wicked purpose. So that spirit, yes, was back then, but it's also today.
Yep. That's why it's also there's no new thing under the sun, because that's not
new
new. Like
thing under the sun,
pyramids being erected, you could say, well, that's not new.
Right.
None of this stuff is new. It's all reinvigorated, and it's really the spirit behind it that's causing it to continually be reinvigorated, reborn, or rebirth.
And that's how we also know Esau's the wicked. Because what the hell is he doing taking some fucking Egyptian symbol any goddamn time? Because he has no real fucking, what's the word? He has no fucking class, man. He don't have no fucking originality. He has no culture. He steals every goddamn thing. He steals the wickedness he does. He even steals from other cultures.
I got
The what?
yeah, like Christmas. That goes back to Babylon.
Oh yeah.
That's another culture that they emulated.
Right. And back then, it would have been a palm tree. Today, they use a pine tree. You know, so there's subtle changes.
Variances, yeah.
But it's really the same spirit, just repackaged, rebranded. What precepts do we have? We did a lot of talking.
Continue now. I got one.
Okay, yeah. Reread that, and then I guess do the precepts to that. That's what you're gonna do.
All right. So starting from the top, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And that
brother could break it down.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, so whatever you do see, it already has been here before. It's just regeneration. It's coming right back in the same constitution, just in a new flesh. The same spirit being put back in the flesh.
The flesh is different, but the spirit's the same. It's like just like the brother going to Christmas. And if that can be true to something as simple as a holiday, surely it can be true as the physical and internal spirit of a human being.
Like Easter,
Yep.
that goes back to Ishtar, which that actually had several different reinventions, but it's the same wicked fertility worship.
Yep. That fertility worship has been rebranded and repackaged throughout all of history, man.
Right. The spirit of worshiping a woman. That goes back to the ancient times, but look at how heavy and prevalent it is in this society. Women are basically pedestalized. It's like a requirement. You have to, otherwise there's something wrong. You ain't even a man if you don't pedestalize. Look at a fucking oxymoron. I'm supposed to be the head. I'm supposed to be the leader. But I'm less of a man if I let this bitch fucking control every goddamn thing, which is out of fucking order.
Right.
She's gonna fucking lead us both in a ditch if I allow that shit.
Right.
You know, or if any man allows it. You allow your women to start making executive decisions, y'all are both gonna be fucked. And I'm just saying it raw.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. Because women, like we were talking in the car, they operate primarily off of emotions. Now, what is emotion but a simple passing feeling? It's in the moment. So you have to be the rational, more logical thinking, and in a general sense, that's what men are.
Yeah.
They're able to make sense of their chaos. When all hell's fucking breaking loose, oh my God! A man, he's trying to stay composed, he's maintaining himself so he can make the most accurate, optimal decision in that moment of stress. Yeah. Okay? A fucking woman see a goddamn bug, she's independent until she see that shit running across the wall. Okay? Oh my God! Come in here quick! Kill it!
Yeah.
Why can't you kill it? Anyway, the point that I'm making without all the theatrics here is that spirit of woman worship is even more prevalent here in America, but it's a reincarnation, all right? Or a spirit that's back here in America, but even more heavy. But why? Why? Because the same people that were pushing that shit then, or was a part of it in some degree, or was attached to it, upheld it, believed in it, participated, are the same spirits today. This is why you see these names. They have no problem. The alphabet community, that's worldwide. But it's being pushed at the behest of America. They're the main ones really jamming it down everybody's throats. Now, you finally start to get a little pullback from these other nations because they realize what happens to a nation when you let your men think they're women and your women think they're men and you let children have sex changes. You see how fucking much of a decline, okay, socially, economically, everything goes. Okay, total state of decline. All right, hold your thought.
Verse 10. Is there anything thereof it may be said, see, this is new?
Yeah, you really can't say this is new. Well, even these cars, these are just modern chariots. That's why they refer to the engine as horsepower. Yep. Okay? The internet is nothing new. Okay? That's the Urim and the Thummim. Yep. Okay? That's nothing new. These different frequencies, okay? Esau found a way through the left hand to harness these different energy sources. Yeah. But they always existed.
Yeah. Reading on. It has been already of old time, which was before us.
That's self-explanatory. It was already before time. Read that, just read it one more time. That one section.
Okay. It has been already of old time.
It had already been of old time. Okay? And it's here again.
Which was before us.
Which was before us. It can't get any more simple than that. Can't get any more simple than that. But there's plenty of other precepts to reinforce.
I got one more.
By all means, and you can break it down.
But
by all means, go ahead.
Verse 11.
I cut it short.
There is no remembrance of former things.
There you go. And that's the thing. We know about reincarnation, and I know I've been here before, and I know y'all been here before, all right? And these other concepts and things already existed before, but we might not always remember, okay? We might not always remember. We might not always have that full recollection.
Yep.
Now, the Lord did do something amazing where if we were meant to get the truth, right, through the spirit of remembrance, by the renewing of our mind, we've been able to gain the truth again. But as far as who I was in the past, I don't got no knowledge of that. What this meant, who that man was. Now, eventually, the Lord is going to unveil all of that. But we're not in that time period because there's no need for that. You don't need to know who I was in the past. All I got to be concentrated on what I'm doing right now. Okay? And that's pushing the truth, edifying the hopeful elect, and getting delivered out of here. Those are our primary concerns. That's it. Not getting caught up on, endless genealogies and or striving about particular, unnecessary things and or who the hell I was in the past. That really doesn't matter.
And so like it real quick, when it says nobody shall die being innocent. If a little infant baby get killed, he didn't even commit sin yet.
That's true.
You understand?
That's true.
So that right there you should be able to understand that if an infant baby died and the Lord said nobody shall die being innocent, that means he did something in his past.
He had to. But we know the Lord is just, and he is. So the Lord basically said, I didn't get you before. I let you live a long life, but I ain't going to let you see past 2 months.
Yeah.
Dead. That's real. That's real. And how do we know that? Because when you go into the book of John, it tells you that.
Right here.
They asked him, who did sin that this man was blind from his birth? Well, let's not jump the gun. Because this brother had something he wanted to bring. I don't know if it's the same precept, but I kind of want to go in succession. But hold that, because that's good. That's good.
There's still a little bit more.
So we're bugging out. Go ahead.
So verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after.
So as it keeps rolling down, you're not going to remember. Like I said, everything keeps getting repackaged, but there's not really no there's no really like fond memory of it. You know what I mean? Like saying like, oh yeah, I was there back in this time, and then I did it again that time.
Yeah, that's funny because it was like Amazon Prime exclusive, but Mark Wahlberg did a whole movie about that, where he basically remembered every regeneration in his past life.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing, but that was a movie though.
Yep.
When we go into the scriptures, we get regenerated. Go back to the generation and back into the flesh. Right. We cycle spirits.
Get Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6 verse 10. That which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he.
Right. So read it again.
Right.
Start from the top, verse 10.
So just to bring context, in Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, we read about that thing that was is the thing that shall be. Yeah. In Ecclesiastes, the 6th chapter, it actually defines what that thing is. Yeah. It has to be man. Like the brother said, same spirit, different body. But they're carrying out the same things that they did in their past today.
Yeah. Like you have like Prince Rogers or Prince, artist, musician, how multi-instrumentalist he is and stuff. Like he, I believe, due to spirit, can possibly believe he could be Mozart.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
If you could look into like the different parallels between their personalities and such, and you'll see pretty much a sync in who they are. Same with Nero Seals, Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
You can look at certain artists are athletes and stuff like that. Like how you can, you could be good at a sport, but you'd be like, why is this dude naturally gifted? Maybe it's because he did it in his past life,
right? And
he just picking back up on that,
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's just that's exactly what it is.
If I could add a little bit more, like on a little bit more of a spiritual, spiritual level, like that's why, like the wicked spirits. It doesn't matter whose body, what do we call that? Like forget the not spirit, but the body, whatever the dwelling the spirit's in. It doesn't matter. Like we all have arms, we all have legs, but the spirit that's inside that body is what carries out that wickedness. And the wickedness, the wicked spirit, the wicked is always whatever the wicked is. Like that, like wicked is defined as like adultery, right? Wicked is defined as homosexuality. It don't matter what body has that wicked spirit. They're still going to perpetuate that wickedness, which is homosexuality, bestiality, whatever the case is, right? If you have that righteous spirit, it doesn't matter what body you're in. If you have that righteous spirit inherently, as it goes into whatever body it goes into, you'll always have that righteous. That's why the prophet. That's why it specifically says the prophets are subject. The spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophet. It don't matter what body has that spirit of the prophet. They're the spirit of the prophets, and it comes through reincarnation. Yep. So like years ago, the prophets of old, that's the same spirit, just a different body. And back then, same thing. Hundreds of years ago, there's a wicked spirit in that body.
Whether we remember who we are or not.
Yep.
Whether we remember who we are or not.
That wicked spirit gets, regenerated, just like the prophet. Just like the prophet. Yep.
All spirits.
All spirits.
The wicked and the righteous.
The wicked and the righteous. Yep.
Okay. Got another one. It's Daniel 12.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Just wanted to finish.
Yeah.
So Ecclesiastes chapter 6 verse 10. That which have been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he.
Yeah, and another thing, it's not the man that decided what body he gonna be put in.
Yep.
It's the Lord. It's the will of the Lord. That brother gonna come back into his regeneration, right? As a prophet again.
Yep.
I never chose to do this. The Lord called me to this.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I was doing my own thing.
A perfect example of that, to just qualify that is Jeremiah. Jeremiah was like, I didn't do this, and he said, no, listen, he's like, I don't even know what to say. The Lord said, listen, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna say, basically.
But that was really a lot of the prophets.
Yeah, a lot of the prophets. Yeah, yep.
Moses.
Yep.
Jonah.
Yep.
No,
it says before I formed in the belly, I knew thee.
Yep.
Where did he know him at? In the heavens. In the heavens, in the spiritual realm. He said, listen, I know you're going to be a prophet, and he sent him down and down to the physical.
Yeah.
So would you guys say that the word has reached the four corners of the earth yet? Because in Matthew 24, Yahweh said that the end wouldn't come. That would pretty much be one of the final prophecies, that the word would touch everyone.
Yeah, we believe we're in the midst of that.
Yeah.
Because you got to take into account all the different brothers that are waking up, literally globally. Like even if, let's say IUIC for example, they got, even though they don't teach 100% of the truth, they still out there primarily teaching the right thing. For the most part, at least when it comes to the 12 tribes, right? We try to recognize at least that. But the thing of it is, they have a lot of reach. Now the thing of it is, the primary salvation is going to happen here in Mystery Babylon the Great, as well as the salvation. Now it is written that the elect shall be saved from the four winds and the four corners of the earth. But the primary place where salvation is actually going to take place is here in America. But to your question, yes, it has to be. It has to be. Because you see brothers waking up in all these different countries.
Right.
Germany, Brazil, Dominican Republic.
You got Jews in Finland, Iceland,
Africa,
Scotland, Tanzania, you got Hawaii.
So if there are people who see the word in a country where there's not ministers who preach on the street or whatever.
Go by the internet.
Yeah, YouTube. That's how the reach is. Psalms 19 says that our speech has gone to all the ends of the world.
So if you're in a distant land and you receive the word,
It's crazy.
are you then required to go out and teach on the highways?
You're saying if they hear the word?
Let's say if you're in somewhere in around Australia,
They got GMS.
Well, just to answer islands around Australia, like Fiji or
just to answer your question specifically, if they're a prophet, the Spirit will compel them to go out and teach, even if nobody's listening. Because it says, as the brother quoted, that the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets, and that's the thing that the prophet was commanded to do, to go to the highways and hedges. Now, I don't know if you're asking, not in an angle in a wicked sense, but let's say the angle was, what happens to the brothers that they didn't hear this through the internet? We're going to have to wait and see what the Lord's going to decide.
And
it's simple. I can't get ahead of myself and say, well, this or that on that particular matter, because remember, we see through a glass darkly. We have 100% truth when it comes to salvation, but the Lord said that there were going to be brothers that were going to come in at the last second anyway. So at the time of the destruction, they might look up and the Spirit might pat them and say, that's the Lord. They believe, and guess what? They just receive salvation. So it might work like that. I don't know if that was necessarily like an extension of your question or part of it. It kind of almost seemed like you were heading in that direction. I could be wrong.
If I may,
Well, go ahead.
if this might answer your question too, if I understand it correctly, a good example, a testimony, the brother Yehuda, who prophesies in Hawaii. He was actually, familiar with Philly, and then went to Hawaii, and then became a prophet in Hawaii.
He was born here, but
and that's how the spirit ended up working that way. So he ended up being in Hawaii. There's a whole camp in Hawaii now. So you could easily know parts of it, because I think if I got this correctly, like you could have someone in the Philippines, maybe no prophets might be out there, but they might have family in America. They might have heard this truth. They might be studied, and then within a year, they might take it back to the Philippines, and then you got a prophet over there.
You got. Yeah, I was just going to say that. I don't know everything that they teach, but I will say this.
Yep.
They do teach the name of the Lord.
And
the Lord might just say them on that alone.
Yep.
Because it said that there was no name given unto men under heaven by where we must be saved.
Yep.
They at least had the name. Those are Israelite foreigners. Because why are they teaching Yahweh and Yahweh Shah? So the Lord might be a part of the elect. They're the believers though. They're not the prophets. They're not, even though right now they teaching, the Lord got them doing that particular thing to push the vibration of the name, which goes to show you how important it is. Because you got Israelite foreigners in the Philippines pushing the name, but yet niggas over here in America can't get it, which is insane. Insane. Salaki, you want to say?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, if they get like a good foundational understanding, and then they don't go out into the byways, for example, and teach in the Philippines, or the most I take it up with them.
The thing of it is, it's better for you not to know than to know, because now you're accountable. At that point, you're accountable. So yes.
And if I may,
in that case, yes. Now, if you're just a believer, you might not be a teacher. All right, or a priest or a prophet. But that's between that person and the Lord. At the end of the day, you can't make yourself a prophet.
You can believe but not teach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the regular.
What's Matthew? Get even Matthews, because you could be a bystander. You believe in the truth. The scripture say that man.
Give a cup.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give him a cup of water.
Yep.
Or if they believe that man is a prophet, he shall receive a prophet's reward. So just your belief alone could get you saved. You don't necessarily have to be a prophet. But that's not.
In the name of a prophet.
We don't want to enable bodies who are capable of being productive either. So let's not get it twisted. Say again. Brother's gonna get it real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick, it's Ezekiel chapter 3 and 17. It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me." And this is talking about the prophets that's given them 40%. It says, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, like we was going into hiding the times, And it says, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life. So we have an obligation to save the elect. It's all about the elect. That's in what Peter's or Timothy's. All things in the elect. Timothy's. It says, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his way to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. So you got to pay for not warning him,
Yep.
And you're going to have a worse punishment.
Yep.
Right. So that's if you know the word well, and you don't go out and warn people to also get on your level.
You don't have to even know it well.
Exactly. Yep. That's like with the talents. If you only got one talent, you don't hide that talent because you say, "Well, I've got enough to be a prophet." You got enough to warn somebody. It talks like Saki, but it talks about how the youth, but that'll be an example. The spot is not thy youth, but let that be an example. So you don't want to just learn a little bit and be like, "Oh, I'm not good enough to be a prophet." But if someone asks you a question, or you hear something that's off, you got to utilize that and you got to tell that person, if you even know a little bit that a thief about to come into someone's house, like a brother's house or something like that, like the scripture say about warning the thief coming. If you knew a thief was coming, even if you just knew a little bit and you didn't warn that person, that's fall. That blood does fall on you. It's just that you knew a little bit. You had that little talent. You knew enough to warn a brother like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not us that's speaking, it's the spirit that's speaking to us. You may think you know something, but then when you get the question, come out
Well, the scriptures tell you to study to show thyself.
Yep.
So you're supposed to be always studying. Now I'm gonna say this. This is not a thing where you start your own thing, and then you become an offshoot of other brothers that you might have been listening to.
Right.
What you want to do is come under the order and the structure of brothers that you've been actually learning from. So if there's a camp, particularly a great millstone camp in your area, in your city, it's best to get with those brothers for further instruction. You know? That's my recommendation to brothers who have inclination or a conviction to come out but need additional guidance or instruction. That's why the scriptures tell you to seek counsel.
Yep.
Well, the best way to do that is go find a local great millstone camp, right, to go and to teach with.
Yep.
Or, you know, go through that process with, because
Yep.
right now there's no new members, okay? But that doesn't mean that you can't come out and fellowship with those brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Learn,
that's,
yep, and learn,
that's
yep.
and then you're gonna get whatever
Yep.
questions you may have answered.
Yep.
You're gonna learn by being around them
Yep.
how to carry yourself, how to conduct yourself. You know, being around brothers is a totally different spirit as opposed to being by yourself. You know, because you got a lot of guys, they did it the wrong way. They may have came, like, I'll use us as an example. They may have came by the camp once or twice. You know, we try to engage with them, and then, you know, several months later, you see them on a corners downtown doing their own thing. And that's really an unruly spirit and out of order spirit. Because everything is supposed to be decent and in order. You learn the names from the apostles. You don't come out and act like you fucking made it up on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have an already well-established, certified through the Spirit and acknowledged by the apostles camp in your region. Because that's fucking out of order. These guys, and that's how you know they're not right. They want to do what the fuck they want to do. Now when they're on camera, hey, shalom or pray, they're all that. But behind closed doors, they're fucking unruly, man. They're fucking unruly. They want to do what they want to do. They don't want to listen to nobody. Nobody gonna tell me what the I know. The Lord dealing with me. And then you find out otherwise, that the Lord wasn't dealing with you. The Lord was dealing with those men, and you had an opportunity to fellowship with them, and you didn't take it seriously, and you took it for granted. So I'm just putting that spirit out there because we see it time and time again. They want to act all cordial, but when it comes time to be in a stable, structured position, they don't want to have nothing to do with that. They don't want to be in order. They want to do what the hell they want to do when they want to do it according to them and their terms. No fucking structure. These guys have no structure.
They get sifted out.
That's right. And that's a real problem. You can't trust a guy like that. Right?
So when the Lord says that He will save those like the lame man shall leap like a hart, He'll save like the deaf man, unblock the eyes of the blind. Is that talking about like actual blind and deaf people?
Yeah, absolutely.
That
It
didn't
is.
receive the word.
Yeah.
Because like let's say the deaf, for example. So it's just a matter of who He decides to save.
Yeah. You know, the Lord even says that. I shall have mercy on whom I shall have mercy.
That's also true.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
It's both spiritual too.
Brother might be blind, but guess what? He can hear. Or maybe he can't hear, but he can see. All right? Maybe he can't hear or he can't see, but maybe he might come in contact with a brother. Because guess what? We started the lesson, I made a statement about embracing the miracles that are about to happen. The Lord about to endow certain men with spiritual power. All right? And all it took for certain individuals to just touch the hem of Yahweh's garment and would heal them for whatever ailment.
Yep.
We're going to see things like that,
Yep.
man.
And then
Look,
they
we're gonna
became
see the
believers
terrible
and
works
became
of the
believers
Lord,
of
both
the
in
truth.
the positive
Yep.
and
The
for those
Yahushua.
in whom the judgment is going to come on, the negative.
Yep.
But we're going to see both. We're going to see divine intervention. We're going to see things just like that happen. Okay?
Yep.
We're going to see those things happen, man. But yes, absolutely. There's nothing impossible for the Lord.
Yep.
What do we got? Matthews, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 41. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. Verse 42.
And that's self-explanatory, but a brother can expound.
Verse 42.
You want to break it down?
Yeah, so pretty much, if you're a prophet, if you're meant to be a prophet, you're gonna receive the reward of a prophet.
Well, no, go back again. Read it again and break it down.
So, Matthew chapter 10, verse 41. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward.
Right. So now break it down.
So pretty much anybody that's even associated with the brothers, you know what I'm saying, you have helpers, you have like I said, you have people that even believe the word. As long as you're a believer and you have faith, you're gonna be there's a high chance that you can be saved. There's a chance that you can be saved. You know what I'm saying? You got the 1/3 container of the 144,000, and then you have the rest of the 1/3 that the men, women, and children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But with all the 1/3, some people think that the 1/3 and the 144,000 is two separate things. With all the 1/3, it's just you have certain parts.
Right, you have the
prophets
government
helping.
body.
Right.
Okay, that's the Lord's primary focus. He said the flock of his pasture are men, right? So it really begins with the 144,000 elect men, because they're leading the heralding in, or the announcing of the Lord's coming. That's really for the men, you know? Because I'll tell you right now, most of us don't have women that believe, okay? But through our faith and our belief, the Most High might have mercy. So we're not worried about no woman. The Most High ain't worried about no damn woman. But guess what? A few of you got women who actually do believe, and that's going to be counted on to them, okay? And as righteousness, okay, right? And they're going to be saved too. So the Lord could do it either one way. But in this particular sense, it's about embracing, acknowledging that's the truth. So that brother got to be a prophet. If you're really true and sincere in embracing that brother who you really believe is a prophet and he gonna get a reward, you gonna get a reward.
Right. And like I said, the reward's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great reward. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be just, you get a house, a nice little house or something like that. That brother may get a planet. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have slaves. He's gonna be a god amongst the other nations.
Well, let's start with the fact that the Lord gonna protect us from starvation, from famine, from disease warfare, from the sword, and ultimately that thermonuclear destruction. Okay, which is the Lord's indignation. The Lord gonna allow us to pass through the fire as opposed to being consumed by it. You know, once we get there, then we can start to, really celebrate. Okay, we made it. And then all the other blessings are gonna be bestowed upon the elect, beginning with the elect. Because, like the brother said, really all Israel gonna eventually be blessed, but gonna be blessed with the seed of the elect, which is the Lord's primary focus. And you don't know who the elect is. You don't know who the elect is. Right? At the end of the day.
And he that receiveth a righteous man, in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, you could have ran into a prophet, you could have ran into a righteous man in general of the 1/3, and because you helped that man, you could be saved off of him.
That's right.
So is there a difference between the prophet and the righteous man? Which goes back to what you were saying, like you can have the word but not teach.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So you can just believe and keep the commandments on your own.
That's it.
Bring them.
Because you're not a teacher. So in that element, you're not gonna go and do something that you're not set up to do. Right? And that's the Lord, that's between you and the Lord. I can't dictate and say, brother, you're not a prophet, you don't believe. Not saying all that. But if you do believe as a man, you should still get with your local camp and fellowship with them on whatever particular day that they go out.
Because they're like commandments that talk about like congregating on certain days, right?
Well, fellowship for instruction, counsel.
Yeah. It says where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So it's better to be amongst the brethren, right? It talks about how charity can hide a multitude of sins, right? Being amongst brothers and being charitable to brothers, that really can boost your spirit spiritually and all that. So yeah, you're better to be with the Akim and help out where you can help out charitably, right? And show that brotherly kindness. It says unto brotherly kindness charity. Like, how do you have brotherly kindness if you ain't never around those brothers?
Right, you're sitting at home.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between alms, charity, and tithes? Because I know like tithes was initially for the Levites, but is alms just like given to the poor?
Well, alms. So tithes is 10th. That's what the word tithe means, and you would give that to to the priests, right? So I'll use us as an example. We give our 10th to the elder apostles, which are our teachers, you know? So whatever we can afford, it's supposed to be 10%. Some brothers might not be able to do the 10%, but you do what's sincerely in your spirit and what you're able to give, you know? So the tithes would go to the leadership.
So is that a 10th of like your paycheck or like a 10th of?
Yeah. Well, primarily money because, you know, that's the most useful thing because that could be traded for the things that they actually need.
Right.
You know?
Right.
There you go. So it's the most practical thing to do. Is, you know, once you get your paycheck or whatever, you know, you make sure you take care of your leadership. Alms basically is like a donation. Okay, we can get the actual definition for alms. So, you know, you might see a brother in need, you know what I'm saying? And you hit that brother off with a little something. Or, you know, you might want to donate because the Spirit's on you to give. You know, that's really at your discretion through the Spirit. You know, but obviously we have that brotherly charity amongst ourselves. You know, I don't want to point you out, brother, but he ain't even a part of the camp. I remember the first couple of times he came, something happened with his car, right? And, you know, we furnished you what you needed. You know what I'm saying? Because you seem sincere. So the Spirit worked out was like,
wait, he's not part of it?
No. But he a part of the body. Don't get it twisted. He's just not officially a part of the camp.
So your camp allows like affiliates?
There's going to be affiliates. Whether we agree with that or not, it's going to happen. But yes, there are affiliates. There are affiliates that are not necessarily a part of Great Millstone, but they still get double honors from the elders and the apostles. So that means they are recognizing their teachings. They understand that the truth came through those men, which is very important because a lot of other degenerates don't give the proper respect to their teachers. That's not us. We don't do that. And then anybody who's affiliated with us, they don't do that either. We get the respect to the apostles and the elders. Of course, we give the honor and praise unto Yakalba Page. So they're doing right. So, you know, you acknowledge them. You know?
If I may say.
You know, and you encourage them. So that's all we have to say about that, really.
If I could say, like I said, the apostles, the leadership, they show charity. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, of course.
It helped me on multiple occasions myself, even though I'd never asked. On multiple occasions, they asked, hey, is everything all right, brother? Here, you know, here goes a couple dollars. When I first started going up there, they did that. And I wasn't even part of the camp. I was somebody that was new. I was somebody that they wasn't familiar with, and they still showed charity with me.
Yeah.
You know? So it's genuine. It's not, this isn't like some typical business that you see out here. This is all love. It's brotherhood.
We don't pass the collection plate around because we out here giving them.
We're not a damn.
Yeah, I'm not over here saying.
We are the church, but we're not a traditional in a traditional sense.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. What time is it?
Yep.
All right, hand out the plate, pass it off to the audience. No,
yeah.
We don't do that because really we have.
Look
the Lord
at this. It's empty. It's passing back around again.
Even when we don't got you, we still got enough. We got the truth. What the fuck else do I need? You know, most time I might take the shirt off my back to get to somebody else, but as long as I got the truth, right? Then I'm good. I'm full. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, you got
Lord throw us a little bone here and there. We just keep it pushing.
Yep.
It goes as far as them offering you clothes. You know, brothers are offering, hey, you need clothes, you need extra clothes.
Yeah,
Short of
not
something.
always money. It's certain things they might need here and there, but primarily
that's that charity.
The charity is really teaching the brother the truth, because that's the best thing you can do for a brother.
You notice GMS don't have commercials? Have you noticed that? Like when you watch a GMS video, they don't have commercials, but you have some other camps. They're starting to take on them commercials.
That's the ad revenue, basically. It's ad revenue to make money. Yeah,
crazy.
Yep.
But listen, it goes back to that adage in the world: if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man how to fish,
you feed him for a lifetime.
Yep. So that really, the truth is the most valuable, precious thing you could offer somebody. All right. Now we still need certain things, you know, to get through our day to day. So we take care of one another, man. You know, and every brother can attest to that. Everybody here, okay, takes care of one another.
Yep.
This brother, he bringing a cooler in less than 30-degree weather just to make sure, hey, I want to take care of y'all, brother. You know, so we acknowledge that. That don't go unnoticed. That don't, because just because nobody pulled from that doesn't mean brothers ain't praying for. Oh, man, pray for that brother, man. Bless that brother. You know, that it's all spiritual. You It's all spiritual.
Yep. Maybe you have brothers lending hands. Hey, can I help you with something? Is there anything I can help you with at camp? You know, that goes a long way.
It does.
And Yahweh Shai had said that. You know, he said, listen, you giving me this, you giving me that, and they said, well, when did we do that? He said, when you did. Oh, you got it. Read it.
It says Matthew 25 verse 37. It says, then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, and thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, they have done it unto me.
Now, if I may say something, right? Imagine you seeing Yahweh Shai right now, right, doing miracles and all that. Would you not want to give him something? Would you not want to like pay some homage to him or whatnot? Was that you'd follow him, right? But if you could give him something like, listen, I'm gonna give you something. Would you, if he was accepting, you would give it to him. But just like you could give to Yahweh Shai, you can give to Yahweh Shai by giving to the brethren. Basically, what I'm saying, like you basically give to Yahweh Shai by giving to his men. You know, and there's a reward for that. There is a reward for giving out to the men of Yahweh Shai. But read that again, the back end.
It says, Matthew 25 verse 37. It says, then so the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hunger and fed thee, and thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, and naked and clothed thee? And when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee?
Yeah, like so basically, like what I'm saying is like giving a drink to a man that's coming after and in the spirit of Yahweh Shai is likened on giving a drink specifically to Yahweh Shai, and that's a good thing, man. I gave a drink to the right hand man of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, right? That's a beautiful thing.
And that carries on in our personal lives too, because the scriptures talk about entertaining angels unawares. There's times where I know for a fact. I remember this one time. I was heading to a Planet Fitness to get a little workout in, back in the Uber and Lyft days. Brothers know about that. And I saw this man, big, long, straggly beard, Jake, and he was wearing a shirt. And I remember coming past him, and then I stopped, and I said, I don't got much, man, but I'm gonna give you a little something, so bless you, brother. And then I saw in the rear view mirror, it said something in the Paleo Hebrew. Now I don't know if he even had that shirt on the first time I saw him, but all I know is when I turned back around to look at him, just to see where he was standing in the middle of traffic, it said something in Hebrew. I don't know if it was I don't want to embellish the story, but I know it was like, whoa, that had to be an angel, bro. It was too spiritual. No, there's no such thing as a coincidence in this thing of ours, man. You know, you might have a run-in with somebody, all right, and something telling you that's probably an angel, all right. But the point that I'm trying to make is I didn't know this man, and sometimes I just get compelled, you know, help that guy out. And I remember that one particular time that I was like, yo, I think that was an angel, man. I really believe that was an angel, because you don't just see any old regular guy wearing Paleo Hebrew on their shirt, especially nobody in his condition and in his state. It was just too odd to be mere circumstances, you know, just regular, ordinary circumstances. That's what I remember from memory. Just a little testimony for y'all, brothers. And I know brothers got plenty of those types of stories. Okay?
The same way as a reward for helping the prophet out is a punishment to put your hands on the prophet. Like bring it out real quick.
Yo, another time, I just want this a little off charity, but I remember this Jake just randomly, I don't know if he had a beard, but he looked and he stopped and he's like, he said something, and he said, what tribe was Moses from? What about this person? What about this person? What about the Lord? And he said, okay. And then just took off. What? Yeah, or it could have been an angel. Could have been an angel. Because the angel would check you. You don't even know it was an angel. To a regular person, you just think, oh, that's hugging out. But you just could tell there was a force there. He just stopped. He looked at me directly in the eye. What guy is this tribe from? This tribe, this tribe. What about the Lord? Okay.
It says Matthew 18 verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he was drowned in the depths of the sea.
Damn.
That's a horrible punishment. There's a flip side to that. You can either be, help Yahweh Shai out by helping the prophets out and get a reward, or you can touch one at least of these little ones and get thrown in the sea with a millstone about your neck. That's one of the worst ways you can pass away, is by drowning. 2 ways, fire and drowning.
So pretty much, the Lord could do things to people that's worse than death. You know what I'm saying? He could do things to you that's worse than death, man. That will make you wish that you was dead.
Well, that's gonna be those missiles. That's gonna be those missiles, man.
You heard the story about the sheep hairs, right? When they was picking at one another. Yeah, so that's an example right there too.
That's yep.
Starvation. Oh, well, the scriptures tell you that one of the worst ways to die is through starvation. You know, it's better to die by the sword than hunger.
Yeah. Yep. Because the pain that you go through, it's just a continuous pain, you know.
Right. But you know, all your organs shut down. You know, little by little.
Yep.
You just like you said, you're basically sensitive to all of that. You're having to feel all of that until you basically give up the spirit. But who knows when that'll be? The Lord can just keep you in that state.
Yep.
All with it.
Yeah, you get really desperate when you go a little bit without food and water, and then you go really desperate when you go a lot without food and water. You get really desperate.
The movie Into the Wild.
Yeah.
With the actor, I don't know the actor's name, but it was based on this individual, Chris McCandless or something like that. And that's what happened to him. So his whole thing was he was going to stop, you know, basically living a modern lifestyle and live off the land and things of that nature, you know. And then he ended up, you know, the animals ended up running dry, you know. And then he ended up accidentally mistaking these herbs, right? Yeah, he thought they were edible, and he ended up poisoning himself, and he got so stricken, he basically died. You know, through a combination of that and starvation. Remember, he only ate that. Now that's if it's true to the story, because you know sometimes it's not. They do things for dramatic effect. But I'm just recounting the movie, not necessarily what it's based on. Yeah. So the reason why he even ate those berries in the first place, and that's another thing about starvation, is you lapse in your judgment. Right? You know, you think about how irritable you can get when you don't eat. You see how these people, when they go fucking just 1 hour without stopping at McDonald's. Yeah. That's why they kill somebody over some motherfucking
Popeye's chicken,
sauce.
yeah.
They're not even the same, the sauce. But anyway, he got so stricken, he was like, oh, I need to eat something. He ate the berries, and that was it. You know? He was cursing the Most High out. He was like, where are all the animals now? Where are all the animals now, God? Yeah. Yeah, well, people want me screaming and fucking withering and languishing in these streets, man. In these times. It's a scary thing, man. It's a scary thing. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power.
Yep.
But that's like, what do we got? That was it on that. So we touched charity.
The definition of alms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
we gotta come back here.
Just relief.
The word charity is brotherly love.
Yeah,
Right. And we got alms, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I think you got it right.
Yeah, I got alms. This alms is charitable relief of the poor, especially as a religious duty. Also, which is part of the community.
Right.
That which is given
right.
to.
That's like in actuality, when you this is where the churches get it all messed up. The whole purpose of taking a collection in the first place is having those funds necessary when somebody falls on hard times. But as you can see, they're out there buying fucking luxury vehicles and want to live designer lifestyles. So they're not really investing it back into the congregation. That's really what that money is for. So when you take a collection or an offering, right, if you don't expressly need it in that moment, you hold it for the next time a moment comes up where a brother might be in need. And that's the right way to do it. That's why you collect money in the first place.
So alms and charity are kind of the same thing.
Alms
to give to the poor, charity is more like to organizations.
Right. Well, you said the word charity is right there in the definition for alms, so they're interchangeable. But I don't want to just say yes, because there might be a little bit of a difference in definition there.
Yeah. Also go to
I just don't want to say yeah without knowing for sure.
Ecclesiastical Greek charity alms from Elamon, which means compassionate, from Elios, which means
Right
pity
now,
or
that's
mercy.
lucky, but I didn't mean to prematurely cut you off. That's what this brother just said over here about charity is what brotherly love. And that's what that just said. That's under alms, right?
Yep.
So it's basically saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But we did differentiate between tithes and alms. Because you would give, like, let's say you would give it 10%, and you still might be convicted to give more. So then you would put up additional amount. That would be like alms. You know, I'm going to make an additional donation. So like, you know, when brothers come into a little bit of money, what do? They may have already paid their tithe, but they take that little bit and then they give it up top. You know, like I got a little freaking thing from a job. It's not a lot of money, right? But I'm giving the whole thing to the people. As far as I'm concerned, that ain't my money. That's the Lord's money. So I'm just gonna give it right up top. You know? Yeah, and I ain't worried about that. If anything, I don't want monetary gain. I want spiritual gain. I want the Lord to hopefully recognize me and cover a multitude of my sins and keep me in this thing, man. Not take His Holy Spirit away from me. That's what I'm hoping. You know, that's why you know, we fear the Lord. We have these convictions because really we want to be covered in the days that are coming, man. We want to hopefully be covered by the blood of Yahushua, where the Lord ain't going to lay to our charge things that we've done in this body or in the previous one, or in this life or the previous one. You know, going back to the reincarnation. Yeah, about Michelle.
It says, 1 Peter 4, verse 8, and above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover a multitude of sins.
Also, look up that word charity. Brotherly love, right? Agape, all right? Which, read it again, son.
1 Peter 4, verse 8, and above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves.
Yeah, fervent. It should be basically like you should have a fiery spirit, basically to want to give, you know, to a brother. Like you might not even like. I just be like, here, man. It might be like a brother be at the food table. Yeah, just throw him something. He eating with us. Hey, here go this samosa. Think of this. You know, you might be brother might be you might be at his house. Brother might never even had no juice, and you gave him some juice. You got brothers that came over like a brother gave me eggs, gave me abundance of eggs, stacks on stacks of eggs. Brother gave me furniture. Brothers actually put me in their house and made me stay there when I got kicked out of my house. That's different. You know what I mean? Like that, you can't deny that's Yahushua. Right. Because no nigga on the street gonna do that. They're gonna say, I even asked the people on the street at first, when I first got kicked out because of the street in my house. I went to people in the world, and it was like a damn near like tumbleweeds grew by. They were like, God, I can't help you. Brother put me right in this spot.
Not even immediate family. Brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, they'll turn their back on you too.
Because remember, it tell you
like the mere slightest inconvenience, they're like, nah, man,
We'll give you a cigarette.
We'll give you a cigarette, right? A light. Give you a light out there. But as the scriptures do tell you, a friend can't be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity, right?
Yep. Yeah, Frank can't be known prosperity. Like it's like that movie. I think that's what's it called, lottery ticket or like that. When if you came into a whole bunch of money, you don't know really who a true friend is because you have all these people coming up to you. So when you're really when you're really doing well, you got a whole bunch of money. Everybody's your friend. But you can't hide an enemy. You what does it say about an enemy?
It said this is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 8. It says a friend cannot be known in prosperity. Yep. And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity.
Yeah, an enemy can't be hidden because when you're going through it, you know who your fucking enemy is because they're there to help you.
They're gonna bang you.
Man, I thought you were my boy. Like, man, you on your own, man. You're my fucking. This whole time you were my enemy, man. I didn't even know. Yep.
And Salakia too. That's why Yahweh put the brothers before his mom and his brother. They said his mom and his brother was out there, and he said, "No, y'all my brothers." So he put his mom and his brother to the side.
Right. Well, they were lesser of a priority. That's it.
Lesser of a priority, exactly.
You know? When it says that hate your mother, your father, it means to love less. Why? Because how about you now? Has always got to come first.
Yep.
And really, that's who you would treat as your that at the end of the day is your true family.
Yeah.
Those that get a real father.
Right. Like we might, like I said, on occasion, you see somebody, you might help them out, you know, or whatever like that. But primarily, you're worried about the brothers that are laboring next to you, because they're what really matters. You know? They actually got a chance, and they fighting for the same thing. These people in the world are not fighting for it. Besides being demons, fighting for their right to be a demon. But do what they want to do as thou wilt, feed their own belly, feed their own desires. You know, most, if not all these brothers, you know, they willing to die for this thing. You know, they willing to die for the man next to them. Yeah. You don't get that kind of love in the world.
Yep.
You might have to defend a brother.
Yep.
That has happened.
That's
many
happened.
Cuss for a brother.
That has happened many times. Well, I won't say many, but it's happened enough.
It's happened enough to count it, yeah.
But it has had we had our moments.
Yeah. So, you know, you see what it really is about. You say scriptures talk about how a brother is born for adversity, right? So what if you don't have no brothers, right? Two is better than one.
Two is better than one.
So the scriptures say not to forsake brotherhood.
Right. Well, because what happens if you fall? Who's going to be there to pick you up?
Right, exactly.
You got to have somebody that's why it's not right to be in a lone wolf spirit. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen if you have a fall or you have a shortcoming, right? Like the brother said, two is better than one.
Yep.
Stronger together.
You know? Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, it's like, I got that in the GMT.
Yep. Good news translation.
Yep. This is I'm start at verse 6. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 verse 6.
Yeah, I'm right there.
It says the Most High Himself hates sinners, and He will punish them.
Wait a minute. I thought the Most High only hated the sin. There's a side, you know.
As the world, Christianity doctrine
a side cut there. When Christians out there, the Lord only hates the sin. No, He hates the sinners. The sin don't exist unless someone's actually doing it. Stupid.
Yeah. And who do you think created the sin? The sin was created. That act was created. Okay, and then there's someone that has to do that act. That's the sinner. The transgressor, right? Yeah. Yep.
Is somebody imaginary?
Nope.
All the sinners, my people should die out of school.
Yep.
There you go. What are they dying for?
yeah.
Because they done something that the Most High didn't agree with.
Yep.
Okay? They did something that was punishable by God. Which I believe the word transgress means to go beyond the limit, or go beyond the bound or something.
Yep.
Transcross. So, you know, they crossing the boundaries. Like, you know, you get a penalty for being
Offsides,
yeah.
yeah.
A lot of there you go.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all, it's like, you offside, man, so the Lord gonna give you that ultimate penalty.
Yep. Yeah, because like for example, I'm looking at this, like here's all the righteous, here's all the wicked. This is the fine line in between. There is no gray area. It's you can't do this, you can do that. You know, the moment you transgress or go over, you're going into that side of wickedness, right? So you're transgressing.
It says the Most High Himself hates sinners, and He will punish them. And it says, verse 7, "Hear to good people, but do not help sinners."
Yep. And that's important too, Slacky, but that's why, like, a lot of times that's why it says try the spirit by the spirit. So we don't help any old buddy out. Sometimes we help, certain, I'll say, like, certain derelicts. They might ask for, like, if I got a little bit of money, so, I'm not giving them, like, they might got some money for this, do whatever, But, like, realistically, we don't just help any old buddy, because, like, we don't know what that man's going to do with that money, right?
You see this dude fiending.
Yeah. We don't, Yeah.
I remember one dude, he was standing around the corner at Wawa. Hey man, get open outside. I said, okay, maybe. What are you gonna do with it? Man, why football ask me all that? Because I want to know what the fuck you gonna do with my money. That's why.
Yeah.
He wanna be the he wanna have the convenience of taking my money,
Yep.
but he don't want the inconvenience to freaking divulge what he's gonna do with it, because he know he's dead wrong.
Yep.
So I gotta stop doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't gonna go down to
And I don't
Kensington and start giving out
no,
fucking
it's like,
giving out alms.
Participate in somebody's
Yeah.
bad habit. It's like somebody asked me for a light. They about ready to smoke a cigarette. I don't got no light for you.
Yep.
I don't even say that. Just like, nah, I don't got nothing. Man.
Yeah. There's actually people that can I use that lighter? No, you can't use that lighter. No.
Yeah, nope.
You ain't tainting that shit. Yeah. But that's why it says know who that give on to. We ain't gonna give on to a sinner. We're gonna literally give a lighter to someone to light a cigarette around us. Like, no, fuck that.
Yep. Go ahead.
Can y'all go over Native American tribes?
Huh?
Can I go over
Gad?
Native American tribes?
Gad? So Gad? What do you mean? Like you got Gad?
Because like there's certain
North
prophecies
America.
that like I was confused about when it comes to which tribes. Because I know I think it's Esdras, second Esdras. It talks about the Native during the time of Assyria.
Yeah.
The 10 tribes.
Yeah, 10 tribes.
At that time, Dan was still around.
So how did the Native Americans develop such a different type of like phenotype, hair texture, facial features, if they were in the same landmass? Like they were in the land of Israel with the Israelites during like right before the Assyrian captivity. So if they came over,
Well, you got a lot of
like once Assyria took over with like Shalmaneser or whichever king it was.
What's that book? The Black Indians?
How is it that they look so different?
Well, a lot of them actually don't. So you did have a little bit intermingling, but you have a book, I believe it's called Black Indians. They look straight up like the Southern Kingdom. Straight up.
Yeah.
Both of Gad and Reuben.
So is it all the Native Americans that are Israelites as well?
All the Gadites? But by bloodline, by seed they are.
All the Native Americans that are in North and South America.
First of all, that depends on their father, right? And ultimately the spirit, because the Lord's only being with the elect. So
how do you
at the end
know?
of the day,
How do you know it's Gad and Reuben?
how do you know? You got to draw the spirit out. Like I said, don't get caught up as to whether or not this person's an Israelite, that person's an Israelite. Be concerned more with the elect. That's your primary concern. The Lord didn't set us out to be tempted. Oh, he's an Israelite. Oh, he's an Israelite. Oh, he's not an Israelite. That's not our job. Our job is to teach. And whoever receives it, we continue to work with that person. That's it. You don't get caught up in that because it's not necessary. That's for the Lord to know. That's not for us to know. But as far as the Gadites and the Reubenites, yeah, some of them have a little bit of a different appearance. Shit, I have a different appearance. But then again, my father's very dark. Okay, he has more Indian-like features, so to speak, but he dealt with a white woman. Okay, now a lot of guys are like, oh, he's a terror. We knew you had Edomites and GMS. Well, it goes by the seed of your father, and she might have been an Israelite anyways, because her maiden name Lenhart goes back to the Irish. That word Lenhart literally means heart of a lion. What's the first thing you think of? Judah. So now, can I prove that? I can't prove that.
It's in the spirit.
It's in the spirit.
Yep.
Okay? Even if I had a record, that could possibly be a faulty record.
Can you quickly go over the lunar calendars? I know you guys follow like the Friday to Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I was reading the end of the Gospels recently. I was originally on like I've been following the Friday to Saturday and just like the full moons is the new moon.
Yeah, that's the full moon is wrong. Yeah.
But when I was reading the end of the Gospels, it said that Joseph and Mary took the body of Yahushua down because it was the preparation day, and then it said that Mary Magdalene came into the sepulchre early in the morning after the Shabbat. So Yahushua said that he would be in the ground 3 days and 3 nights according to the sign of the prophet Jonas. So if it was a Friday Shabbat, I was confused as to how it's like, because that would have to have meant that the body came down. That would have had to have meant that the body came down, according to my understanding, that Friday at 3 p.m. and she came that Sunday morning, but it doesn't make sense because it wouldn't have meant that he was in the ground 3 days and 3 nights. That's only like 2 nights in 1 day.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, first of all, like the brother said, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, is that,
you're not gonna
yeah.
find that in the scriptures. The days of the month. I'm sorry, the days of the month were just numbered.
Yep.
Okay. Now they had whatever names, respective names, but we know that the word month actually derives from the word moon.
Yeah.
And roughly, a month breaks down to about 29 and a half days based upon its lunar cycle. Now, as far as the new moon, okay, that starts almost where you see a very little sliver of light, almost virtually no light at all. You got that little sliver of light, okay, and then it progresses. But the full moon is not. First of all, when you get the full moon right around the 14th, the 15th day of the month, okay, so you look at a lunar cycle, roughly, right around between the 14th and 15th day. That's when you actually get to that point. So it can't be the starting point. Even in the scriptures, it tells you that evening and morning were the first day, right? So we know that the day starts in the evening. Well, similarly to the moon basically renews itself or regenerates, and the start of that point is when there's virtually just a little sliver of crescent. And then it renews itself.
Since there's a cycle, isn't like, because when there's a full moon, you can see that the moon looks pretty full for like 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Like you have to
From the
know
naked eye, right?
You have to know the exact day of when it's like fully full.
Yeah.
But like, wouldn't the same thing be for like a sliver of the moon?
Well, you had people that watch. You had observers. You had observers of the moon. Yeah. You had people that observed the moon to see it in its shining and whatnot. But to their point, like you gotta understand, like the lunar calendar, like when you look at the phase of the moon, you gotta look at that as that's your month. And we can get it, like I'll get it in the dictionary or like that for the new moon and month. But like when you factor in the fact that slither of light being the new moon, that's your day one. And then the cycle of the moon is 29 point some days, right? And then it goes back into the new moon. It goes a whole new month again. So 1 to 29 is basically your average period of a month.
Is there like a verse that says that?
What's that? What 1 to 29? Yeah. About the new moon, yes. Specifically, yes. But then like you got like the word itself, moon, or month comes from the word moon.
Yeah, that's right.
So like when you start to put all those pieces together, the only thing that makes sense. But we got the precepts on. I got some information I'll bring out too.
Yeah, if all the power went out, you lost track of time. How would you know what day is Friday and what's Saturday?
Right, if you didn't have like a calendar.
Yeah, how would you know?
That's a good point.
And then Friday, that's paying homage to different
All of them, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tell certain days by like the solstices or whatever.
How would you know what day it is?
And that goes that far time. That goes back to Greek gods. You didn't know Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday. How would you know?
So like in Genesis 1, when it talks about the creation,
Yeah, you gotta go.
okay,
So what's actually check my bag over there because I'm like,
and he sanctified the seventh day. If you go by the lunar cycle, you have certain weeks where you can have a Shabbat, like one day, and then you have a Shabbat 3 days later, right?
well, okay, so let's kind of dig into that, and then we gotta start bringing out these precepts, but just for the purpose of information, so we're being thorough. A new moon is treated as a Sabbath, so that would be your starting point for the month. Okay, new moon, new month. That's essentially what you're saying. A new moon. 6 days from that point, okay, would become 7 days, or technically 8 days in a month. Then you would have another Sabbath. Now, can you have a back-to-back Sabbath? You can, depending on the high holy day. Because in certain months, in high holy days, the Lord would require you to actually hold a Sabbath independent of the new moon and independent of the regular scheduled Sabbath.
So you're saying your Sabbath starts on the new moon, and then you just count 7 days after that, and then once the next new
There you
moon
go.
is
Yeah.
That's it. That's a report.
And that's where the
consistent
Kentucky.
cycle. That's exactly
I was
how it
confused about that because I know that there's other camps that their lunar cycle is like it's different from what you described. They don't count 7 days. It could just be like different every single week.
But, it only appears that way because as our elders apostles explained it to us, hopefully this makes sense. You gotta get caught up in trying to explain the biblical perspective of it, while also trying to align it with Esau's Gregorian calendar, which is based off the Julian calendar, which some years you have 29 days in a month, 30 days in a month, 31s in a right. Leap year now you got to account for. And then, you know, all that crazy stuff.
Certain months have certain days for some reason. Why is that? Why does certain months have 31 days, some months have 28 days? You know, when you base off the moon always has pretty much the same amount of days.
So let's give an example. Let's give an example. Right now, our Sabbaths are kept Wednesday evening to Thursday evening. Prior to that, it was Tuesday evening into Wednesday evening, right? Now, the end of that month would have been our last Sabbath, right? That evening of, let's say, Wednesday. But because the new moon came in that same evening as that month was ending, we would have kept another Sabbath. So that's why it seems like, oh, we're keeping 2 Sabbaths back to back. Yes.
Because the new moon's a Sabbath.
The new moon is off, but we can prove that. We can actually, I'm not just saying that and making that up. We can prove that. Okay? And we got all the scriptures on that.
Yeah, that's usually where the confusion comes in. The fact that you got to observe the new moon as a Sabbath and then have your 6 days of work and then 7-day rest Sabbath.
And we're not going to follow the months of this calendar because we're following the moon. So yeah, it's going to seem like, wait a minute, y'all Sabbath was on Wednesday to Thursday. Now all of a sudden it's from Thursday to Friday or Friday to Saturday. Why did it jump like that? How did it jump like that? Wouldn't it just be the same?
No.
And we're trying to apply the biblical lunar way of keeping it. It's going to seem
it's going to seem like it's a new day, but
it's not actually off.
And if I may, if I may, like that's why when you create it, when you think of it as just lunar calendar and don't add anything on top of it, you don't overlay the lunar calendar and the Gregorian calendar,
with the exception of some high holy days.
Right.
That's all accounted for. That's all accounted for.
When that new moon comes in, that's day one. So you're saying, okay, day one, new moon, now 6 days worth of work. That next new moon that comes in, or next Sabbath that comes in, that's the 7th day. And then same thing on that 28, I believe it's what? 7, 14, 20, 28. That 28, that last Sabbath, on that 7th day work, that 6 days rest, 7th day work, you have that new moon coming in, you know, within like a day or two later. But it's day one of the new moon and in your 6 days work. So you know what I mean? It's day 1, day 2, day 3, not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, now it's Wednesday, Thursday. It's just day 1 now. It just doesn't line up right when you apply it to that calendar like that. So if we had a lunar calendar, it would just be day. Oh, no, this is day 1 of the new moon. This is day 7 of our rest day.
When you read Genesis itself, in the beginnings, it said this was the first day.
Yep, this is the first day. Yep.
Just basically we're going into that.
Yeah, we have Genesis 1 and 14.
We got to get it. Yeah.
People think that the new day starts during 12 a.m., but it really starts when the sun sets.
Yep.
Which look at that Genesis. They don't think it's going to be right.
When they say a dawn of a new day, they basically saying that when the sun starts to come up, the day has begun. No, the day already began several hours before the sun rose. Technically speaking, you know, which brothers don't go into. You know, we did the explanation part, but really the evidence is in the scriptures. This is why we even have the ability to expound on anything, because that's the instruction right there. Okay.
Ooh, damn! Got it right here.
What you got?
I can bring out here now, and then we can follow up with the precepts. But this is out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Okay, well, we can start with that, and then let's get our precept. Let's see what that has to say.
This is out of the word calendar. When you go into, I'm just going to jump into a point. It says the Hebrew month began with the new moon.
That's what season.
It says before the exile months were designated by number. It says before the exile months were designated by numbers. After the exile names adopted from the Babylonians were used. So that's kind of, like I said, it was originally used by numbers, and then they kind of started adapting names to it, like by the way the Babylonians were doing it, right? So like Sunday, Monday, those are actually names. They go back to.
Well, no, because you have the month of Abib.
Yep.
There was no month of Abib.
Yep, it was just month.
It was the 7th month.
Yep.
The 13th day.
Yep.
The 5th month. The 10th day. That's how it was. Go ahead.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Which, like you said earlier, you come to find out, once you start going into the days of the week, the months of the year, and all of that, they're all based off of fucking Greco-Roman gods. Okay? What you got? January off of Janus. Yeah. Thursday, I believe, goes back to Thor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Sunday, that's self-explanatory.
Yes.
But go ahead.
I'm gonna jump back up and then jump.
Anything relevant?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump back up to what's relevant. This is it says during the Bible period time during the Bible period time was reckoned solely on astronomical observations.
Yeah, so they were looking to the firmament.
Yep.
Right? Which y'all gotta get.
Which isn't worship, because they be acting like that's worship. We ain't worship. Just because you're observing the elements, you're not worshiping
They
them.
actually
No, they have a purpose. We're using
Yep, measuring
the
it.
purpose in which it was intended.
It said measure now the time, measure the times, right?
When you
Yeah.
start acting like that's what created
You
everything.
got that precept about Issachar.
It says solely on astronomical observations, days, months, and years were determined by the sun and moon. So like we started our time, but that's why when we observe, we observe it by the sunset. The sunset determines, okay, this is the evening. This is the time in which we're going to start the Sabbath, right? Because your day starts during sunset, right? That's the beginning of the day.
And they also serve for signs.
Yep.
That something's about to happen. So for particular future events, the sun might end up having a solar eclipse.
Yep.
Sounds
The
about you
moon
got
might
it.
have an eclipse.
Yep.
So they were actually, we did. We looked at the sun. All right, we'd observe it for certain things.
Yep. Yep.
You look at the moon, most notably, that kept time.
Yep.
All right.
This here it says days of the week were not
like the other apostle Tahar always goes in. When you see the sun at its highest point in the sky, you know it's high noon. You know it's right about 12 to 1 when it's at its highest point. And you know that because of the position the sun is in. Okay, you could tell what time of the day is just by following the sun. Or they used to have what, sundials.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be able to tell where you were at in the day. So that makes sense. Go ahead.
Yep, it says days of the week were not named by the Jews, but were designated by ordinal numbers. So it was just numbers. It was just a 1, 2, 3, 4. You know.
The first month.
Yep.
The 15th day.
Yep.
Whatever month. 10th month. 5th month.
Right, because October is not even October because it's supposed to be the 8th month, but it's the 10th.
Yep. Yep.
So it's just confused.
Yep. There you go. And the Lord's not the author of confusion.
Right,
So
right.
let's go right to Genesis.
Yeah, y'all can go. Y'all can get the precepts on that.
You got that other precept? Telepod?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, read it real quick. This is gonna support him.
Oh, one more. Second. One more. This is the word time out of the Zion Compact Bible Dictionary. It says in the earlier biblical period, time was marked by sunrise and sunset, phases of the moon, and location of a few constellations. But there were no names for days and months and no accurate knowledge of years. Ancient people had no method of reckoning long periods of time. But basically, the point is, they marked by the phase of the moon and sunrise and sunset with how time was actually told. And they observed that time, you know. And there was no like 2020, 2021. That's all kind of new as far as like, you know, keeping up to with the years.
I don't know what that last bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know what they were saying about. Yeah,
I don't know what the hell that was. They knew how Shai came because of the sign that it's all in heaven. So how did they remember and record that? I don't know what the hell they were trying to say there. That sounds like some bullshit Esau's trying to incorporate in there, try to make it seem like civilization wasn't, you know, advanced or something. But Esau was trying to throw slick shit in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Fucking created everything.
Oh, here we go. Then it says the Hebrew month began with the new moon. So I mean that's it.
Go. Yeah. So they know.
Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't nobody who put this book together.
Yeah. It was scholars.
Yep. Okay, so now let's get into the precepts.
Oh, and then one more thing. I'm sorry because this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. It says the Romans, right? We were going to this. The Romans' day began at midnight and had 12 hours. The Hebrew day was reckoned from sunset. So, you know, that's kind of going back to what we said earlier about, you know, how we kind of like, you know, things are kind of like reinvigorated.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, read that precept.
This is First Chronicles. First Chronicles 12 and 32. And the children of Issachar, which were men.
Yeah, the children of Issachar, so-called Mexicans.
Yep.
Right? Go ahead.
Which were men that had understanding of the times.
And they had understanding of the times.
Yep.
Right?
It's stargazing.
Mm-hmm.
To know what Israel had to do. The heads of them were 200, and their brethren were at their commandment.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
33.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Because
it,
it goes
yeah.
into 7.
And Yeah, Issachar, hey, what they got, the Mayan calendar?
Yep.
And they trying to predict the end of the world,
Yep.
right? Which no man knows when the end of the world is going to be, right? Except the Father, Howard,
Yeah.
right? Howard shot neither the angels don't know at that time. But since Issachar, as the Mayans, all right, had good understanding,
Right.
great understanding, right? That go back from them being Israelites,
Right.
all right? Which they would be a part of that 10 tribes, lost tribes, as Peter said, that came over from Assyrian captivity, right? To practice the basically the customs that they couldn't do in the land of Syria, right? You know, but we was going off, you know, coming over here, you know, and then worshiping other gods. Even look at Apocalypto, the movies and such, you know. But Issachar was one of the tribes. Like, not if I ask a regular nigga what time it is, like Hanu, what's that?
Right.
Nigga gonna say, what's that?
Right.
You know. So we had actually certain designated. You had a trumpet would be blown at certain times, right?
Yep.
Which we gonna get? Also with that shot, you got that 81. Yep. All right, so go ahead. Yep.
Hold on.
Oh, stop.
Real quick. Now, this what proves that we don't follow the new moon,
Yep.
especially in the kingdom of heaven. This is Isaiah 66:23. It says, "And it shall come to pass from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh." It ain't said the full moon, it says new. So that's how we want to govern the time. It's going to be by the new moon, not the full.
Yep.
I mean, that's
Yeah, we don't. It's not by the full moon. It's by the new moon.
Which is funny because now there's a group in particular that was calling us lunatics and going all on this madness. And we've been talking. Our elders and apostles been talking about the lunar calendar and how we follow govern our days and Sabbath by the lunar calendar, till being called lunatics and all this. And now the Sabbath is governed after the full moon. So is it now? Is it by definition? Aren't you now that same quote unquote lunatic that you were trying to scoff at us with? So you have these guys that be a little wishy-washy and change up their doctrine, but saying that the Sabbath and all that's based upon the full moon is inaccurate.
Yeah, they're just bugging out. Let's get the scriptures.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. And the Lord said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years."
Yeah, so read it again.
All right, so starting from the top, Genesis chapter 1 verse 14.
Elohim.
And the Elohim said,
Right,
"Let there
that's
be."
plural for gods, because God is they got it in the English as God, but it's Elohim, meaning the powers the angels. Starting with Yahweh Shai.
Right, when you go to the original text in the Hebrew, it says Elohim.
Yeah.
It don't say Allah. It says Elohim.
It says Wa Elohim. It says Wa Ya'amar, which is in he said, and then Elohim is gods.
Right.
Yep.
Or the angels or the powers.
Yep.
Right.
There you
Which
go.
Yahweh Shai was the head angel in charge.
Yep.
So it was really Yahweh Shai and the other angels with him.
Yeah, the 144,000 created everything alongside of Yahweh Shai.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And years. It's like,
Let them be for signs and for days and for years. Now we explain the signs part, right? At certain periods, you have solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, and that's to signify that something may happen or something's going to happen. Not may happen, something is going to happen. Usually it's something major, some sort of form of judgment. Okay? You might have a blood moon, right? You have a blue moon. So we know that's for signs. And then we also know that particularly with the moon, it keeps time. And that's how our seasons and our high holy days is dictated.
now when you go into the Hebrew word for
By
season,
what moon it is or what month it is. Because the word month derives from the word moon. As a matter of fact, when you look up that word moon, okay, you're going to see the word there, or for the word month rather, you're going to see the word moon. Right. Or moon. You want to see the word moon, Salakia, I misspoke. When you see the word moon, you're going to actually see the word month. And a brother can get that too. when we get these other precepts, the word moon pops up. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had the Hebrew word for seasons. Okay. Now it is mawa'ai, and it means appointed place, appointed time, meeting, appointed time.
Appointed time.
Appointed place, or appointed sign or signal.
Right. Which is predicated on what? The moon. Based upon the moon, its position, its phase, right? And that's the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 43, which it's telling you the same thing here. Go ahead. Was there more on that?
Nah. So get 1 Samuel 20 and 24.
Well, I think it starts to define those two lights,
yeah,
right?
Go ahead. Yeah,
it
the
starts
lights,
to define the two
sun,
lights.
The stars, the moon, the sun.
Like he made the stars also?
Yeah. No, but first read that.
Just finish off what you were reading in Genesis, the first chapter, brother. Wherever you left off.
I mean, I left off at 14.
Okay, well, read that last part, Baba Michelle.
Alright, so Genesis chapter 1, verse 14.
Yep.
And Elohim said, let there be light in the firmaments of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Right, now read 15.
Verse 15, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Verse 16, and Elohim made two great lights. That was the Lord and the angels, which is the 144,000. Right? Made two great lights, and the greater light to rule the day, the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night.
Right, like in Esau's schools, they teach you that the moon is getting its light from the sun. That's a lie. The moon is its own light. It's its own aura. It has its own illuminescence. And as a matter of fact, we're not even getting our light fully from the sun. The sun is a light. It rules the day, but this is literally an illuminated element before us. That this is illuminated not by the sun, although the sun governs the day in of itself is its own light. The lesser light is the lesser illuminated elements. Okay? Oh. Nah, I'm thinking about something else, but I don't even want to bring this guy up. You'll see it for yourself. You'll see it. Go ahead, Ak. Yeah.
So starting from the top of verse 16, and Elohim made two great lights, and the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night.
Yeah, the Shamash for the sun.
Yep.
Right? And then if the night is of course the moon. Right?
And he made the stars also.
Right, so the word moon is there, right?
Yeah.
No, the moon is not there. But
is it? But if you read down, right? Or it just says two great lights. Get the word. Let's see. All right, so like, we can move it on.
So verse 17. And the Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth.
You see?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's what we wanted. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Next precept.
Read that. Yeah. Psalms right now.
Psalms 81 verse 3. It said, blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Okay. Yeah. Slide.
Read that again.
Psalms 81 verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Right, because the Sabbath is the actual feast. Right? It's the actual appointed time. Right? The Shabbat of the new moon. Okay? Which as we went into in Genesis 1 and what? 14 that was? That when you go to season, going back to the Hebrew word, Moa'ai, all right, going to a sacred time, right? Right? Yeah. In feast. Okay? Set feast. It's the Lord set feast for us, all right? And we can go into all of it, We're going to also different our holy days. How we gonna count it to know when the Passover is?
Right.
You know, you gotta go by lunar. Okay.
Exactly.
Go ahead. So in that precept for moon, it's the Hebrew word kadash, not what quadash, because quadash means holy.
Right.
Kadash with a ka means what?
New moon.
New. Right. What?
Month.
Monthly. Monthly.
The first day of the month.
The first day of the month. So the first day of the month is the new moon. As the brother bring back that precept, if you can.
That's the spirit that I wanted to.
Yeah, it has to be reinforced because it's a killer, as I would say. It's a hitter, right? They leave no room really of argument if you have a spiritual discernment. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's the same word in here too.
Yep.
Kadash.
Yeah.
Isaiah 66:23, and it says, and it shall come to pass from, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon or one new month to another, from one Sabbath to another.
Yep. The Shabbat is what? What is a Shabbat? What's a Sabbath?
Rest.
Yeah, rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh.
Right.
That's proves that's a prophecy. Because when that happens yet, it's going to happen. Then everybody gonna follow what? The new moon.
Everybody gonna fall right. That's gonna be the new standard in the kingdom.
What do you mean? Oh, slide. Yeah, so now go to Samuel. And then I got also the Amos 8 chapter.
Right.
Which going to also with the Amos 8 and 6.
We should get the law too, you know.
5. Yeah. Oh.
Just, you know.
Isaiah. Oh, well.
I'll get it. I'll get it. This is Exodus. No, you guys. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. It says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath." Slakia. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So cease, which you will cease out also from your own pleasures, your own desires, all right? Your own works. You got to do, of course, what? Of course, the Lord represented him, his name, all right? You know? The Alahayim, they rested on what? The 7,000 years, right? Or 7th day.
It didn't say Sunday.
Right, it didn't say Sunday, right? But there you go. You know? They create everything in the 6,000 years or 6 days. One day of the Lord with the Most High is as 1,000 years, as you read in Peter. Right? Yeah. Which the scriptures tell you not to cease not to it say quench not the spirit and despise not prophecy. So if he was, say for example, the guy that was asking the questions, he might have hit the stumbling block with the Sabbath, which basically breaking it down what the Sabbath is by the new moon, and he believed in a Friday sundown. That's what he believed in, right? That dude, he believed in the Friday sundown to the sun.
Yeah, the dude was talking about that. You know what I'm saying? He believes in, you know, that Gregorian calendar. You know what I'm saying? He believes in that type of Shabbat or Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's
which
not.
Is off. It don't make any sense.
And it's not by obviously how us as Hebrews, all right, kept it, all right. So, I mean, what do y'all want to do? Y'all don't really follow Easter, you know? But you want to follow your masters.
Each day of the week,
right?
Each day of the week is named after a Greek god. You know, Sunday after the sun god, Monday after the moon god, so on and so forth.
So, you know, really,
that's all.
Yeah.
That's all Greek mythology BS. You know what I'm saying? To keep track of quote unquote time, which is not the most efficient way of keeping track of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Salakia too, before y'all got here, when you first came out, And they asked him who he followed. He said he followed multiple camps.
but
That's where his confusion is coming in from.
Yeah, going on. You got to keep one counselor of 1,000. So
we got another example right here in our camp. Same thing. Just could be going through. But hopefully his mind getting restored. You know what I'm talking about. Don't. I'm not my.
You talking about demons?
No, I'm talking about God over his. That's what he used to do. He used to study for all this. That's what one of the books got plugged up. Bro, right here.
Oh! Yep. Yeah.
Watch out, brother. That bee ain't that.
Oh, no, the bee is good.
Oh, you cool? All right. He said the bee is good.
Go ahead.
Oh, we didn't bring out this yet. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, verse 6. I don't know if we did it. Come on. It says he made the moon also to serve in her season.
Right, in her season, right? Which, right, the moon, everyone with the new moon set in different feast days. Go ahead.
Yep. For a declaration of times.
A declaration. Well, how do you just declare meaning make something known, right? Of time. All right? All right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says for declaration is an announcement or proclamation.
Proclamation. We're going to make it known. All right? Oh, this is the time. All right? This is where we, get together, right? And we, we hold, of course, reverence that we're supposed to cease and assess from our own will and worship Yahweh Shah. All right? Not to get lightning fire in our habitation, roughly paraphrasing. You know? Not having sex on the Sabbath. So dudes might think they can have sex and stuff. You can't do that. That's work. You know? You laying tight.
It says in a sign of the world.
Yeah, and it's a sign or a token onto the world. Okay? Which we're in the world. All right, and it's round. Okay? Go ahead.
It says from the moon is a sign of feast.
There you go. So the moon is a sign of feast. So the new moon is a what? It's a feast. And we went into lower I, in the Hebrew. All right, which is under the word for seasons. Go ahead.
Yep.
And it's good, brothers, go into this Hebrew so that you, when you go and prove your new moons, you just go do it just like this. This is how you do it, precept upon precept. Because these dudes don't try to, say this and that. You go into the history, trace it to the precepts, go into the definitions. It's simple and plain. Hey, this truth is plain to the simple, but it's stumbling block to the wicked. Go ahead.
Yep, that's right. It says, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
Yeah, it decreases or wanes, right? Go ahead.
Yep. The moon phases.
And in perfection.
Yep, a light that decreases in her perfection.
Right.
Verse 8, the month is called after her name.
Right. So the month is moon, okay? Go ahead.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above.
Right, but you got the different changing, right? You got all waxing, gibberish, raining, repressive, all the different phases of the moon, okay? It changes face. Go ahead.
Yep.
Full moon, fully illuminated, 100%. All right, go ahead.
Being an instrument of the armies above.
Yeah.
Shining in the firmament of heaven.
That's it. Yeah. So Ecclesiasticus 43rd chapter is a straight cut in proving when the new moon is and stuff like that, and that linking it up with the month and stuff. It's another reason why Esau would not want you to have a prophet, too. Esau just wants you to do Sunday, like they don't even do it. They don't even cease from what they do. No. Most of them. Amalek, he does the Friday sundown thing over there in New York or wherever he might be.
They'll close the banks.
Yeah, right.
On certain days.
But it's not. They're not really holding the Sabbath. To Shabbat, not Shabbat. Shabbat means a ride. Just to let other brothers know when they say it's Shabbat. No, it's Shabbat. All right, Shabbat. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Yeah. So going on. Another thing it said in its perfection. body, but it decreases in its perfection. Perfection also means complete, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So it will be completely dark, right? Because it wanes completely dark. Let's make another point. All right. So, hey, understanding and look at the 144. Show that on the camera. I would like to show this on the camera. Baba Kashad, Malachi. Show that 144 right there in front of Malachi. Lord willing, you know, that's a sign, you know, for the elect of 144, man. It might be on the license plate too, you know. Hey, but Lord willing, that's what we, of course, hope and aspire to be, is to be elect, chosen, okay? And if we are to be prophets, we prophesy. We despise not prophesying, and we quench not the spirit, okay? And we don't try to be over righteous, you know? Yeah.
That's like, you know, when the Sabbath comes and a brother might have to work,
Yeah.
you know, when we take a practical approach.
Yep.
You know, we don't want to do it,
Yeah.
you know? We don't have no desire to
Yeah,
break
I
the
wanna-
commandments.
yeah.
But we know, we know we in captivity. We do what we can to the best of our ability. You know, if you kept calling off on the Sabbath day, now some brothers might have it like that, but in most cases, generally speaking, you're not gonna have it like that.
Yeah.
You'll be out of a job if you kept doing that. So it doesn't make sense to do that, knowing we can only do so much in this kingdom.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're supposed to keep
you
it holy.
violating the Lord said to cease from thy labors.
Yep.
Okay. Now beyond the pleasure portion of sex, you really are what? Multiplying. You know, be fruitful and multiply. You planting seed, so that's a labor.
Yeah, it's husbandry.
That's husbandry. Do benevolence.
Right.
You know. So you gotta keep it holy. Remember, there was a man that the Lord put to death just for picking up sticks. So the fear of the Lord is very important. So, you know, but we still are practical, but we don't make an occasion to sin. So we don't go, all right, you know, I already had to work today, so I'm a, you know, go and, you know, make a full course meal. I'm gonna turn the stove on and make a full course meal, and then I'm gonna go into the room. Yeah. Right. Now you might be on the road. Some brothers on the road, they gotta eat.
Yeah.
Those driving jobs, working long hours on the road, you have to get something in your system so that your freaking head,
Stay up.
right, is alert and focused.
Imagine you being ready to sleep. You think the Lord's
So
gonna hold it?
you're gonna have to stop somewhere.
Yeah, you get a coffee. The Lord is gonna hold that to you, for your own safety.
You seen them videos where which by the Spirit of the Lord alone you can make it through. Okay, but like I said, you got to be practical. You can't afflict yourself in your own counsel. You know your limits. But you be seeing these truck drivers, they be working these long ass hours and then they fall asleep at the wheel and the fucking So I know that there's times I'm long hours on the road, whatever. I might need the coffee, you know? I might cast a lot. Just let it up to the Lord. Okay, either it's gonna land on getting it or it's not. And if it doesn't, then I just don't get the damn thing. Right? Simple as that. Some other times the Spirit's like, you know, just go get your coffee, man, to sustain you a little bit. Remember, these things are useful as long as you use them appropriately. Right? You can't despise the herbs and the things that the Lord created. But we just don't make an occasion to sin. We don't go freaking all out. You know? Well, he gonna fuck around and find out. Yep. Did we get that sandwich?
No. Yeah, you start.
We can finish on that. What time is it?
We at 3:09.
Okay, so we basically finish on that. You know, we covered a variety of topics. You know, that guy had a lot of different questions. So, I mean, if he continues to just stick with Great Millstone, he'll have all his questions answered. You know, with a little bit of due diligence. And I'm not saying he ain't diligent. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of the stuff that he has questions about, brother's already done videos on it. You just gotta go through the search bar and just look. First of all, you gotta pray, and the Lord gonna lead you right to it, man. Because that's how it works. Literally, you might not know where the starting point is, but generally, brothers title their videos very well. So you could find it by just a few keywords. So, but even if not, the Spirit gonna lead you to that information. So, you know, hopefully through the Spirit, he was edified. But we were back, you know, bouncing kind of in different things. But that's how the Spirit go anyways. You know? And we want to make sure that we were on point. And hey, if we went off on something, then we're gonna get corrected and we're gonna make the correction. We're not proud, man. You know? We want to get this thing right because we want the Lord's elect to be sealed, to be saved, which they're going to be anyway. But we also looking to seek our own salvation with fear and trembling. We're hoping to get delivered out of here. So we want to make sure we have everything right, man. You know? We want to make sure we have everything right. This is really, honestly, when you go over it for somebody, you really go over it for yourself too. Because some of these things we don't like touch for a while. And then who knows who's watching the video? This might be their first time even hearing any of this information. You know? Now it did seem like we cleared up some of the things that he might have been confused on because of what certain other guys do. But that's why don't be watching the other guys and following that damn doctrine. You can listen to what they're saying when you season so you know what not to do. Because they're just examples of what not to do. That's my advice. But don't be carried around on every wind of doctrine. Next thing you know, you basically just alphabet soup. You took everything from everybody and you made your own thing. And that's what a lot of guys end up doing anyways, you know? They end up having itchy ears. They want to hear something new or different, so they got to throw some craziness in the mix. And then they got their own doctrine that they teach and they want their own followers. It's not about that, man. You know, just throwing that in there. Excuse my rambling, but you know, it's all through the Spirit. It ain't even me speaking. It ain't even me speaking. It's through Yakalba Page. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and finish on this. You know, just a couple more things. You know, I don't mean to be long-winded, but we had to say it. America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. All right? In case we didn't already say it, or we only hinted on it, I'm saying it directly. Okay? If you know your Bible, if you're reading the scriptures, if you're watching prophecy, and if you're following the men of Yakalba Page, you would know of the seasons that we are in. We're in the end time, okay, prophecies. We're at the final 3 prophecies. We're in the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, 2024. I tried to say trouble in 2024 at the same time. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. The mandation of the sea hip, right? Esau being exposed even more, so we see that we're even that much closer to that destruction and salvation. The border crisis is just ramping up more and more. Okay, we're possibly going to see civil war in this country, all right? Whether it manifests organically or whether it's manufactured, either way, everybody is subject to the will of the Lord, and they're going to do exactly that. There's going to be uprisings in this country, man. Right, you got certain governors all banding together to support Texas. So we're going to see a lot of things this year, man, and this very well may be the year of Jacob's trouble, but with Jacob's trouble comes what? Salvation, okay? The sea hip, the destruction, all the different judgments, and ultimately, if we be the elect, the salvation. That's what we earnestly hoping and seeking for, man. So that was my little, you know, closing speech, but let's finish on the Samuels to conclude the point on the new moon.
Okay, all right. Some points at 5, but let me start from 1, right?
We might have to jump around a little bit, but get the brothers the chapter and the verse. Where are you at? 1 Samuel's?
1 Samuel's 20.
20? Yeah, so read the chapter for reference, but we'll just hit the key points.
So 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 5. And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king and meat.
Right, so we know he said tomorrow is going to be the new moon. So we know that's the starting point for a new month. Just so everybody's following along. And it's going to expound itself, but you know, sometimes it helps just to hear it, you know, a brother go into it a little bit.
But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field until the 3rd day at evening.
So you got to keep reading. What verse are you at?
I'm at verse 16.
16?
No, 6.
Verse 6?
If thy father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me that he might run to Bethlehem, his city. For there is a yearly sacrifice, therefore all the family. If he say thus, it is well, thy servant shall have peace. But if he be very wroth, then be sure that evil is determined by him.
Jump down to 25.
All right. Verse 25, and the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spoke not anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Did you read 24?
No.
You got to read 24. That was my bad. Go ahead. Read 24.
Verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat.
So David hid himself in the field, as he said to Jonathan, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. So we know that it's the new moon right now, okay, in this scenario. We know it's the first day of the month, okay? And we read already and looked up the word moon, which derives from the word month. So we know the moon is what's governing time here. This is what we do to follow our feast days and high holy days and time in general. So we know that right in this particular case, it was the new moon, right? Now read down.
Okay. Verse 25. And the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side. And David's place was empty.
Continue.
Verse 26. Nevertheless, Saul spoke not anything that day, for he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean.
Yeah, because remember, if a Sabbath or new moon is a holy day, he didn't remember. What's that, Exodus?
Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy.
And keep it holy, which,
Separate.
yes, exactly.
That's why you don't do particular things on the Sabbath day.
Yeah, it would make you
And it unclean. If you do things prior to the Sabbath day, there's a certain ceremonial practice that you would have to do. Like, let's say you may have laid down with a woman right before it, right? You have to see the compilation. But basically, in the seed touches you, that woman, both of you become unclean until the following evening. So basically a whole day cycle. But you got to wash your garment, you have to wash up. All right? So then you would pretty much abstain, okay, from certain things. If that was the case, until the evening of the following day was up, then you would be deemed clean again. All right, when you actually go into the law. All right, just for reference. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month.
There you go. So if he said if the first day was a new moon,
Right. If they sat down to eat meat on the new moon,
right?
And then Saul noticed that David wasn't there.
Yep.
Something must have befallen him. Surely he must be unclean.
Right.
It proceeds to say, on the morrow, meaning the next day,
Right.
and it even tells you the second day.
Right.
So what would be your indicator to determine and distinguish between one day, or rather, the first day of the new month? Had to have been the new moon, as it stated previously. That would have had to have been the distinguishing factor to determine the count of your days. The first day was the new moon, and then it said the second day. So what was your starting point? The new moon. But you can read that over and read down. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah. So no, that's it right there. You know, that's straight plain too right there. It didn't say, oh, Friday to Saturday.
Right.
No. Okay.
Right.
But a lot of y'all don't read the scriptures. Y'all
Right.
just follow doctrine.
Yeah, you got to extrapolate. If it said tomorrow is the second day, what was the day before the second day?
Right. This is so.
Because it didn't say the new moon was the first day, because you got simple.
Yeah, y'all block
Simple,
heads.
man. No, this simple, bro.
No, they're like, no,
They
the-
try to find any fucking excuse.
No, the new moon was the
Excuse
15th
my
day. That was the
Swahili.
second day of the feast, not the second day of this day, the month.
Well, Jake try to find any way to argue around it.
That's a hammer.
Yeah.
But-
Jake always be circumventing the point.
Yep.
That's a dumb.
But we already solidified it with the Zonderpins and the historians that said the same thing. They're like, listen, the Hebrews, all right, followed their time after the calendar, and it was you know,
Predicated on the new moon.
yeah,
The new moon is what kept time.
and it was a run-on count from 1 to 28. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3. So with that in mind, knowing the new moon is the beginning of the month, that's day 1, and it's a run-on count day 2 tomorrow.
So then, what would you do? If the new moon was the first day, we know it's a Sabbath because the brother just went into that. The new moon is treated as a Sabbath. We are to rest. Okay. Now, if brothers got to work, they got to work. But we know that we don't go beyond that point then, right? All right. We don't do particular activities. Okay. And brothers already named them. Okay. Laying down with your woman. You know. Freaking lighting up the stove and making a full course meal, all right, doing all that in the house. You're not supposed to do all that. No, you're really supposed to do your best to prepare prior to the Sabbath. Now, there might be times where you don't have that convenience, let's say, all right? But you still got to maintain your strength if you have a labor-intensive job. Well, a lot of brothers be doing labor-intensive jobs, man. So they got to have some sort of sustenance. They need something to support themselves, whether it's drink, food, whatever.
Plus, we're in slavery. It's not like we can just call out every Sabbath.
Yeah.
Well, we
You
went
saw, like,
into
where
that.
you at?
Right. Oh, I'm on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
going to say,
alright.
well, you're unemployed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You won't be out on the street.
Here's a Sabbath for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're
Niggas
gonna
some
put
work, right?
They're gonna put you on
Yeah.
a permanent Sabbath.
Yeah,
some work.
Here's your day of rest.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
fucking permanent day of rest.
Yeah. And remember we
Damn
was in
devils.
we was in what is it time in slavery? We still in slavery
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, so we couldn't say, it's a Sabbath. It's,
Right, we under grace. We
Yeah.
under grace.
Exactly.
We under grace. But you gotta remember, you gotta exercise that grace wisely. That's the point. That's what we're stressing.
Yeah.
So right, new moon. That's the first day. It's a Sabbath. Now, what I was getting ready to say was you do a 6-day count from that, right? So you have your first day. You count 6 days you work, and then on the 7th would be a day of rest, right? But how many days in total from the first day to the 7th day? You'd have a total of what? 8 days. That's right, a total of 8 days. Your first day, which was the new moon, was day 1. 6 days thou shalt work. That's 7 in total. On the 8th day is the Sabbath, but in that count, it's really the 7th day. Does that all make sense? That adds up, right? Because your Sabbaths every 7 days would be what? 7, 14, 21, and then 28, right? If I did my math correctly. But when you do the overall count, not to get anybody confused, it would really be 8, 15, 22, and what? 29. Right. Why? Because again, new moon was day 1. You work 6 days. The 7th day you rest, but from the first day to the 7th day is a total of what? 8 days. That's why I say the 8th day, the 15th day, so on and so forth. When you do the overall count of those days, but it's still 6 days work, 7-day rest. That doesn't change. That does not change.
Like I said, the Hebrew calendar is a total. I wouldn't say total count, but a continual count from 1 to 29. So the Sabbath falls on the 8th day, but that's your 7th day. That's your 7th day after 6 days of work, 7th day rest.
It might take brothers, if they hear this for the first time, or even sisters, it might take them, like you might have to write that down, which you should be writing it down. Because once you see it and then you count it for yourself, you might, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Which it makes more
sense. Just me explaining it, it might be like, why is he counting? What's he doing?
Yep. And
realistically, gotta play back the video. So
and realistically, when you think about it, there is really no confusion. 8, 15, 22. That's the easy part. The hard part is then putting it on the Gregorian calendar and saying, yeah, the 8th day is actually Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, and then when the next Sabbath comes in, it's Wednesday, Thursday. Like that's when it kind of gets, really kind of confusing.
But once you know the days are counted by the new moon, and you get a count of 1, 2, 3, you understand it then. Yep. You understand it. Okay, but that's really all we got to say. You know, brothers, stay up. You know, the few sisters out there, keep the faith, keep prayed up. Hold fast the faith of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash. Lord's will, man, we get delivered up out of here soon. You know, this war pop up, they man that shit, but we know we can't have World War III, okay, officially, okay, in its full effect without the implementation of the sea hip. And we know when that happens, salvation is nigh. And that's what we're looking for, the coming of the Yahushai. All right? The Lord's going to crack the sky. All eyes are going to see him. All right? There'll be no mistake. It'll absolutely be Yahushai. Okay? And that's what we're looking for, man. So hopefully very soon, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Kakadash, giving double honors, of course, unto our apostles and elders of the great millstone. Sincere, hearty shalom to all the hopeful elect. Shalom.